Hey there, and welcome to another episode on the Jaw Media YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing the Xbox Series S and how to disassemble it and clean it to prevent it from becoming your next jet engine or your next unwanted space heater that's clogged in your living room. Stay tuned. Alrighty, step one, make sure you have an Xbox Series S. Step two, make sure you have tools. There were two stickers on the back of the console here, concealing two 8mm screws. And these two screws are the only two holding most of this plastic case on. See, or I'm sorry, 8. Yeah, it's a T8 Torx bit. We'll take these two screws out, and we'll just examine it for no reason. Yep. Slide this off, and that bottom panel comes out. Look at that. And next we will remove the green screws. All these green screws are exceptionally long T8 screws, but they hold the rest of the plastic onto the metal chassis. So, we will remove these next. Alright, now we can remove the remainder of this plastic case. I am recording the audio later, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, the back panel, I'm getting ready to mess it up, but that back panel right there, it's riveted on. Don't even try taking it off, because, like I said, it's plastic riveted on. You can't take it off, so just leave it alone. Now, I'm going to edit the rest of this so you don't see me snap some pieces off, but, leave it on there. Wow, there, I have edited it out, and now I'm back to actually taking the console apart. So this front board here has three little black T8 screws in it. Again, everything's a T8, I believe. Actually, I think some of the more coarse thread screws later on are actually T9s, but I use a T8 and everything because it's just the way I am, and do as I say, not as I do. Anyway, I'm using a T8. These are fine thread, very small, like shallow-headed bolts or screws. So set these off to the side. There's three here, one down here for the power button, and then the same types of screws on the other board. I think it's the Wi-Fi module or something. But you want to set those screws aside. They're the only screws in the whole console that are like this. You don't want to get them mixed up and cross-thread something or whatever. So make sure you set those aside. Alright, well, there are actually four more fine-threaded, small-headed T8 screws that are holding the cooler to the back of the metal chassis. Go ahead and take those out. And remember, yeah, don't try messing with that. And, and here is a Master Chief Easter egg. Looky. Look at that. I'm not even pointing it to the camera. It's a picture of Master Chief on the power supply. See, I thumb it up because I missed the camera. But this modular design is very simple. Just pull this power supply out. It unplugs. And keep an eye on that. You can see the dust build up already in this. This console hasn't been used but for maybe 20 hours. Now granted, it's close to the carpet, so it's a little dirty down there. But just keep that in mind. That is a spot that will need blown out when you take this apart. Now we just simply unplug the fan. This thing obviously will collect some dust too. So if yours is all filthy, make sure you blow it off and give her a good little clean. And then we're getting down to the heart of the operation. There's the vapor chamber cooler, big old cooler. And there's the four screws I was just talking about. You gotta take those out. Oh, and ignore that little bit of plastic. That's nothing to worry about. So we'll take these four screws out, and that'll allow us to remove the board from the chassis, and then then we can take the cooler off, and that's where you get to the thermal paste. And be careful, there are some thermal pads in here. There's one on the bottom of the board for one memory chip. I believe it's the 2 gigabyte one for at 54 gigabytes per second for system memory or whatever, operating system. And then there's one for the M.2 NVMe SSD. So just be mindful of the thermal pads. Don't peel them off, because then they'll be no use. Then they'll be like chewing gum, and you don't want to be chewing thermal pads. Yeah. Okay, now once we get the board out of here, oh, careful, there's a little tab over here by the USB port on the front. It just lifts out. Okay, we get the board out, and then I'll go ahead and take the M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD out so that you can look at it. I think it's a Western Digital SSD. Yeah, Western Digital, and it's 512 gigabytes. I'll give you a little bit of information regarding this hard drive. Granted, it's only 512 megabytes, but this console only costs $299 retail. I mean, with the controller in the box, $300. But this is a 512 gigabyte M.2 NVMe SSD Gen 4. It runs at 2.4 gigabytes per second uncompressed, and then 4.8 gigabytes per second compressed. So that's slower than the PlayStation 5. But this console's only $300, guys. Oh, here's a Xbox One. What is that? Southbridge chip. Yeah, that's same thing from the previous generation motherboards. And right there's the OX clamp. I'll show you a trick on how to pop that off. I have learned over the years a pretty efficient way of doing it. So, and this is not how. So let me show you. So all you want to do is just take your screwdriver, stick it in here, and then pry towards the opposite side of the clamp, and it'll pop that side up for you, just like that. Now, I know that's kind of hard to see, but you just want to take your screwdriver, like I said, stick it between the clamp and the peg sticking through the board for the cooler, and pry away from the peg towards the opposite side, and it pops it right off there. And voila! Now we've got the cooler off, and all you do from here is clean the cooler as needed. Mine is in, like I said, pretty good shape here. You just blow it out with some compressed air, clean off the thermal compound with some rubbing alcohol, some 99% rubbing alcohol, and then apply some good quality thermal compound back to the SoC. You don't want to put 14 gallons on there, just a little pea-sized bit. And we'll go back together with her. Okay, well, I think we'll go over some fun facts about this console, and why it's probably a good idea to get one if you're looking at playing some games at a very reasonable cost. One, the Xbox Series S supports hardware accelerated ray tracing with a targeted resolution of 1440p. Now, I think you'll struggle to achieve that in most games, but still, it still supports 120 Hz. It's got the same Zen 2-based 8-core CPU. I mean, that's a $250 part nowadays anyway. It's clocked at 3.6 gigahertz. It's running the AMD RDNA 2 GPU with 20 compute units at 1.56 gigahertz. That's compared to the Series X's 52 compute units at 1.825 gigahertz. Custom 7nm enhanced system on a chip. And 10 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, running at 224 gigabits per second. That's 8 gigs of that. But anyway, there it is. That's it. And I'm upside down. Here we go. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. That's how to clean your Xbox Series S. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video, folks. So long.